So as you can see, it is a beautiful day, clear blue sky today, and it's lovely out here. I've not walked this route for quite some time. This is across lots of muddy fields, but it's lovely. And we are halfway through the time, but not halfway through the miles, which means I've got to pick up the pace quite a bit. And schools are back, and I've just walked past my old school, which is the other side of this hedge line here. And it doesn't exist anymore. Well, it does exist, but it doesn't exist. In so much as, when the schools went from 3-tier, which is what I was in, down to a 2-tier system, the school was sold off, repurposed, and it became lots of other things, offices and so on. I even went back to work there. And now, because they need more school space, because they're building more houses, it's opened up again as a school. But it has and it hasn't. It has because it's opened up as a school. It hasn't opened up as my old school because they've decided to knock it down and start again, even though it was actually okay. And what they've done is they've basically redesigned it to be exactly the same as it was, but just a bit bigger. I mean, it's nice that it's a homage to it, I suppose, but there we are. So the schools are back, and it's strange because it's almost as though things are completely back to normal. I mean, people are still socially distancing. I mean, there's nobody here apart from a few dog walkers around the perimeter, but people are still doing that sort of COVID shuffle, leaping to the side, getting out of your way. But it's quieter. But at the same time, it's not. This is like playing fortunately, unfortunately at the moment on this, isn't it? But it's not, because yes, it's quieter. There's not so many children about, but in the distance, past the birds, I can hear all of the schools back, which is great. I'm now walking into the sun. I'm not squinting on purpose. There's a reason I cut off the last video very quickly. Well, not very quickly. Somebody was coming along and I didn't feel overly nervous about recording. It wasn't too much of an issue, so perhaps I'm getting used to it. But I wanted to say hello to them. And the thing is, you never know how people will react on videos. And at the same time, you should ask permission. And she was a lovely lady, and she'd got 3 dogs. And I said to her, could I take a picture? Could I film them? To put them on here to show you, because they were really lovely. And there's a little sort of pond back there, in which they were leaping in and out of. So I asked permission. Quite rightly, she said, they're not my dogs. If they were, I would have allowed you to, which is fine. You have to respect that. But that's why I sort of leapt off quickly. And now I'm back on and squinting. And I'm doing what I shouldn't do, which is squinting. I get told off by my mother for that because I get this line here that looks like I'm frowning, which as I'm getting older is becoming more and more permanent and starts to make me look like I'm a really angry person. And I'm not. I'm a really happy person most of the time. But because of this dent in my forehead, I start to look very angry and upset about stuff. So if I ever look at you like that, it's just my face falling and all into the wrong places, so apologies. Well, I was hoping to walk this way, but even with my hiking boots, I'm not sure that's the best option. Oh look, there I am, in the shadows. Sign of a good filmmaker. I'm going to zoom in really horrendously now. I'm not sure I want to go through that. It's deeper than it looks. And there is evidence that somebody has perhaps tried and failed. I've never heard that bell before when I've walked this way, so I'm presuming that it's actually end of lesson time, because over there in the distance, which you probably can't quite see, but there is a school, and obviously very well trained, because as soon as that bell went, they were heading inside, which is nothing like the schools that I went to, or any of the schools that I worked at. It usually took 10 minutes of chivying. But yep, there we are, a couple of minutes in, and they've virtually all gone. This is lovely. This is all marshland though. All wet land, all very boggy underfoot. And people like to keep building on this, and then they wonder why the area floods. And yet I'm going to decide to walk over it and see how we get on. That was really awful of me. Going to, gosh, I'd get told off for that as well. I'm going to take a slow walk across. What I haven't got, and I've promised myself that I'm going to do this at some point, and I haven't got round to it, and it'll soon probably be too late, is I wanted to get myself a gimbal. And for those of you that have no idea what a gimbal is, because I had no idea what a gimbal was, it is like an arm, an extendable arm, that as you walk along keeps the picture steady, because you will notice that my picture is often very wobbly. I don't know, maybe you like the raw version of my footage. So there we are. To be able to hear the bird song still. I'm squinting again, look at that. That's what I mean about this dent. You see this dent forming here? You're all going to be looking out for that now in the videos, aren't you? Oh, I can see the dent. Oh, he's getting older. Yeah, all right. He's frowning. He's angry. I'm really not. So if I had the gimbal, this wouldn't be as shaky. Well, it's not as bad. Not as bad as it was in the very first couple of videos. But I do like this. I love the fact of, not now, it's gone silent of course because they've all gone in, but I love the fact of children and teens being back to school, not just for them, for their benefit. The joyous sound of them, happy. Gosh, I wonder what that was then. I have disturbed a pigeon. I love the joyous sound, laughter, and I don't know, I'm not in the schools at the moment, but to me they seem to have just fallen straight back into it. They need that social interaction. We all need that social interaction. I'm saying that, here I am, stood in the middle of nowhere, look, with nobody around. But it fills my heart knowing that they are back, and how much that's going to help their mental health and well-being now. I'm tentatively now going to pick my way across here because I've just spotted up ahead what looks like a very wet patch and potentially a very boggy patch, i.e. potentially getting sunk into the ground. I may turn around and go the other way. When I said I may turn around and go the other way, what I meant to say was I will turn around and go the other way. It was boggy. I should have filmed it for you. It's over there. Really wet. In fact, let's go back, because then you can see what I was on about. I mean, this is, you know me, none of this is planned filming, is it? Why would I plan stuff? It's not as if I went to college and studied media and filming and learnt that you plan things out and have an idea of what you want to say and do. No. So there you are. This is what I was about to attempt to walk through. It might look like the ground's just a bit damp. From here, I think, on my own, just a bit too risky. So yes, schools are back, and it is filling my heart with joy to hear the laughter as you walk past the schools. And certainly a moment ago, as I was saying about that mix of the school and nature, probably two of my favourite sounds. And it does make me wonder how our children and young people are going to get on. Going to get on. It's a difficult time. I've been mentoring quite a few during the pandemic, and the youth club has still been able to meet. And I suppose it feels almost knife. Okay, I heard you. It feels almost knife edge-ish, which isn't even a word, but you know what I mean. And it's almost a case of, yes, okay. And it feels almost like a case of, are they going to sink or swim? And in all honesty, I don't know. I think with the right help, they will swim, and I think everything will be amazing for them, and their mental health and things won't be affected too much, or as much as people are thinking they will. But we need to get in fast, and that's not really happening. And it does make me sad. I think there's so much that could be done. And you can say that you're pumping all of these millions in. I'm getting very political here. You can say that you're pumping all of these millions into mental health, but how much is getting filtered down? And you need people that know what they're doing, and that's not to disregard what the teachers know about their children and their teens and so on, but they don't have the time either. And just to sort of throw a worksheet at them, which is what I've heard a lot of people are doing, we haven't got time for this. Give them a worksheet that says we can tick the things that will help us. Is that really helping? Do we need ongoing support? I don't know. I've just realised, I'm saying about sinking or swimming, looking at where I am. I'm back to there. I've walked right round and haven't even realised. Lost in thoughts. That's what happens when you go out walking, isn't it? Let's carry on. I said about the change in sound now that the children have gone back to school, and that you can still hear two lots of sound there. But now that they've gone back, it's almost an ideal time to come out and see what sounds you can hear, and that's really great to do in nature. What sounds can you hear? Focus on just one of your senses. Such a chorus out today. And a dog somewhere in the distance. It's a spaniel. It's quite a chorus behind me. And in the distance, some geese. And see how the sounds change as you move further along your route as well. They won't always stay the same. Some bird song will be louder, some quieter, some nearer, some further away. Squinting into the sun. I'm sure this dent in my forehead will soon be deep enough to fill with something, won't it? If you're thinking of going out for a walk, which is more than just to the corner shop, top tip number one is check the weather. So like today, it's a beautiful blue sky, but if it's not, then make sure that you have got the weather sorted, because that leads on to top tip number two, which if it's going to rain, for example, you want to make sure that you have got the appropriate clothing on. So today I've just got my nice warm coat on because it's a bit chilly, but if it was raining, I would put my raincoat on. And number three, hydration. Always take hydration with you, because you never know how long you're going to be out for, and keeping hydrated is very important. Don't forget, I'm doing my Land's End to John O'Groats sponsored walk in aid of Restore, a mental health charity in Oxford. If you'd like to sponsor me, I'll put the link below, and you can also visit my website to keep up to date with where I'm up to on the route. It's roypeach.com/ramble.